Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto Lost Everything and Travel to the DC Universe. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this with your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Law's Ability and Conqueror's Hockey guys over on Anime King. If you're new, yes I indeed have 4 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, wasting more time with you, so we jump right into this brand new episode. Let's begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, Galatea, that was her name. The copy of Supergirl, her name was Galatea. All of the members of Cadmus gather as they spoke to one another about the occurrence. They had a spy in the Justice League. Yes, someone was there. A spy that was gathering information, but the person had no information on Naruto whatsoever. They knew that he had magical wind abilities, but other than that they did not know what he can do. But they knew that he was strong enough to take on a Kryptonian and kill them and come out alive. So they got their trusty agent, Slade. As they spoke to him about this, he was a enigma as well, but he wanted pay. So they had to pay him. As Slade started gathering information to find out just who exactly was this Naruto. As he wanted to find out what he was all about before he jumped into anything. So with that he started to do his search and his information probing. As for Wonder Woman, she was not having a good day as she almost killed someone by accident, not knowing that the man was already out, but John had snapped her back into focus. It turns out that they need her help as she thought that they should not intervene in the war, but the princess over there had called for their help, their assistance, so she went. However, Ares, the god of war, had the best weapon crafter craft a machine that feed off of negative energy, and he took it and handed it over towards the opposite side of the war to bring chaos over there. While that was going on, Wonder Woman and her team got there, but they were quickly overrun. As they stood no chance, they were able to stop fighting the thing at first, making it power down. But Ares came and powered to that strange engine that was fighting. As Naruto was on the watchtower, when John got the call from Wonder Woman as Naruto told him to send him down there. However, the system was messed up. It turns out that it was a spy for Cadmus who did that, giving Slade enough time to go there to track Naruto as well. As Slade was able to get there right after Naruto arrived on the scene. With him there, he was able to watch what Naruto was truly capable of. Arriving there, Naruto saw the machine. It had negative energy inside of it. Naruto had to pull it out. Using a combination of his shadow clones and Sage mode, Naruto was able to rip out the energy, but some of it got into his system because he was pulling in nature energy. Once he was able to rip the machine apart, Naruto ended up releasing that energy as Wonder Woman and the other 2 heroes were shocked to the amount of power that he expelled. It was violent and destructive. However, they won. Getting back, Kara had passed out the book. Well, the Ichi Ichi series, as all the women on the watchtower, well, they wanted the next episode. As Naruto's sweat dropped, they also got a publisher for him already, making Naruto sign something so the book can be published. The book was a work of art to them. It seems the girls in this world were a bit more perverted than one of his. Not to mention Kara told him that they were going out on a date, and she was not taking no for answer. As for Slade, well, he was conflicted about his new target. There was so much things as he was going over them. However, that is when Ares arrived, as he told him that he was also interested in this person. Slade was a bit surprised at first to see the God of War here. However, he had a plan to help him, as Slade decided to listen in. So yeah guys, basically let's let off. You guys can switch across the playcheck to yourself, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the rest of the what ifs of the other channels. Yes, I need a 4 guys, I'm just getting back into things, but you know what ifs are coming, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So without further ado, let's begin. Now guys, it had been 3 weeks since Naruto was called in to help Wonder Woman, Hawk, and Dove to take care of the Annihilator armor. And truthfully, Naruto would rather deal with the army of those armors than what was gonna happen tonight. Seriously, said Kurama. Realized no jittery, his host was being. Yeah, seriously, Naruto said. The two has been arguing about Naruto skipping out on a date that was hours away. This is not a good idea whatsoever, I mean a really bad idea. As Naruto was pacing back and front in his room. What is so wrong about this, Kurama said. She doesn't need someone whose hands are stained with blood. She doesn't need a killer. She doesn't deserve one. Naruto's arguments were filled with a lot of holes. Both him and Kurama knew it. Plus, her cousin is not my biggest fan. I don't want to be the cause of breaking up a family. You know, you're one of the world's biggest idiots. She likes you. The idiot in red underwear will eventually come around once he pulls his head out of his ass. Just take it slow, kid. As Naruto heard his door open, glancing toward the standing there was none other than Superman, with a level glare towards Naruto. Can I help you with something? Said Naruto. Yes, you can, Superman said as he stepped in, closing the door behind him. I heard that you're taking Kara out tonight, he said, crossing his arms, trying to look as intimidating as possible. It took you 3 weeks to hear about it, said Naruto. His tone sounded mocking. Naruto wasn't surprised to see Superman here. No, I heard about it instantly. It took me 3 weeks to speak to you about it because I found out from Batman that you published a perverted novel series that Kara has been hooked on, he said, sending Naruto a glare. Oh, that, said Naruto. I was really hoping that you would never find out about that. As he rubbed the back of his neck. How did Batman find out? He doesn't strike me as the type of person to read something like that. Then again, neither did Kara-chan or the rest of the female members in the league. Catwoman, said Superman. As Naruto blinked, Catwoman? Yes, apparently your books have caught on with the female villain population as well. Among others, he said. As Naruto chuckled. Well, I find myself still confused about your weight in coming to speak with me. Clark kept his glare up, because I was hoping that you would talk her out of it. Naruto sighed as he nodded. You don't think I've tried, he said. The first time I tried, she demanded I take her out. And the second, fourth, and... well, those went well, said Naruto, as he hoped that Clark would get what he was saying. Yes, she kisses you. So far in different places on your face. And based from what people have said, you were left open-mouthed, blubbering like an idiot. Hey, in my defense, she's gorgeous, said Naruto, as he tried to retain some dignity. It would not be good for someone like him, the person that is writing the most perverted novel out there, to be completely shut down and speechless after a kiss on the cheek, one in the ear, one on the forehead, and one on the whisker mark. As Clark simply intensified his glare, however, Naruto was not bothered by it. I was trying to think of ways to threaten you, said Clark, but... You don't kill, said Naruto, cutting him off. Plus, I can match you in speed and strength. Clark nodded. Although, I have yet to go all out, he thought to himself. So I'll let you believe that for now, Naruto, he said. He was unaware that Naruto has not gone all out either. So, we find ourselves at an impasse, said Naruto. No, said Clark. I will not impede her date tonight. Kara has earned it and she's old enough to make her own choices. However, should everything that has happened up to now be a trick, as he stepped rather close, I will dedicate the entire league to bring you in. As he then turned and walked, as Naruto simply laughed. As that made him pause. Well, that's a foolish thought you have there. If I wanted you, her, or anyone else in the league dead, I would have moved the second I got up here. The longer you stay in your target, the harder it comes to make your move, said Naruto. All assassins know this, because there is a problem of you developing feelings for your target, and also seeing them as a completely different person than just your target. And that is where the problem lies. Clark glanced towards him and he saw something rather surprising. As Naruto was dreading the date, not because of Clark, but he was dreading that it went well, as that caused Clark to raise the eyebrow. He left through the now open door. As he started to walk down the hall, he was stopped by a voice. I take it everything went fine. Turned and he saw Batman, as he motioned for him to follow. Thanks for the lessons in body language, Clark said. Batman just nodded. It's something that you should have learned by now anyways. Clark simply sighed as he knew that Batman had his views on the world, and they would not change. By the way, who decided that Naruto should be across from Kara? As Bruce simply smiled in response. Jerk, said Clark. I don't understand. He's scared of the date going right, said Clark, as the both of them stepped on the teleporter. As Batman nodded to John. He has survival skills, said Bruce. He feels like he does not deserve her because of his past. It is hard to see, but it's there if you know what you're looking for. And I assume that you always know what you are looking for, said Superman, as Bruce simply smirked, as he was pulled down to Gotham. And once again, Bruce, you're a jerk, said Superman, as he was left alone. Time skip, as Naruto got dressed. Black pants, red and orange shirt, and black shoes. Taking a quick glance in the mirror, Naruto nodded to himself as he moved across the hall. He didn't knock. He heard her shout just a minute from the other side, before the door opened up, and Naruto was caught breathless. Wearing denim shorts that were so short the bottom of the pockets were very visible from where they cut off at the legs, along with the incredible short shorts she was wearing, a white cami with a see-through red blouse over it, and the glasses that she used for her cover. All ready to go, she said with a smile. And of course Naruto nodded dumbly, his brain running through 1,000,001 scenarios, most of them perverted. Laughing at the blonde, she kissed him on the cheek, as she grabbed his arm and dragged him towards the teleporter, as Naruto was able to gain back proper brain function. Well now, a voice said as they turned. Lantern was the one that spoke. Vixen was there, Arrow, and Superman as well. Don't you two look like a couple of kids that's about to paint the town red, he said, as the others chuckled like Tara's blush and Naruto exasperated look. Does there seriously need to be a group send-off, Naruto asked, before Kara smacked him. Fought a giant nuclear robot, Oliver said. Helped out with those wackos. I got a right to see Lady off on her first date, he said, making sure not to comment on what happened some time ago with Lantern and Superman here. I second the robot, Lantern said, and I've been on 4 deep space missions with her. Also, I'm her Javelin flight instructor, so I get dips to see her off as well. And I am the vice president of the newly dubbed Justice League Women Book Club, Vixen said, and I have to be here to see the president off. Naruto's face turned blank. Seriously? I have to agree with what you said, kid, said Kurama. The women in this world are far more perverted than the old one. Clark was the last to speak up. Cousin, and I'm here on official business from Ma and Pa. As both of them raised the eyebrow at that until Clark pulled out the camera, as Kara let loose a giggle. Naruto sighed as Clark smirked. Smile, you two, said Vixen, as Naruto placed the arm on her shoulder as he pulled her in. As just as Superman raised the camera to take a picture, Kara leaned up and kissed Naruto on the cheek, which of course caused a dopey smile to appear on Naruto's face as a flash went off. As all of them started to laugh at Naruto as Kara chuckled at her date. As Naruto couldn't help but feel a pinch of sadness. Kara had all these people to see her off, however. Have a good date. Glanced up, it was none other than the Martian Manhunter. As it went out to the both of them, but John was looking at him as he gave Naruto a nod. Right before Naruto could speak up, he spoke once again. Fish cake, he said, as Naruto whined as he sent him down in the teleporter. Everyone hearing John said fish cake turned towards him. Turn about. It is fair play. Just like Flash has taught me, he said. Time skip. Sir, Wintergreen said. Shinobi and Supergirl are boats moving through Metropolis without uniform. Slade smirked as he rised, grabbing his mask, as he removed it showing white hair and his black eye patch. Well then, Wintergreen, he said as he held up a strange looking gun. Let's go and introduce ourselves. Meanwhile, Metropolis was as big as Naruto remembered. The buildings were higher than the Hokage's tower by miles. Both him and Kara walked hand in hand, chatting about dislikes and likes. Almost remind me of my first team meeting, Naruto thought, as he arrived towards a movie theater. So, what do you want to see, Kara said as he reached a line. As Naruto looked over the names, trying to see if anything sounded interesting. He turned to her. I got nothing. You pick, he said, as she pointed towards one of the names, as Naruto raised an eyebrow. Don't I have to see the first one, he said. Nah, Barb saw it the other day and said they gave a slight explanation in this one for the people that did not see the first one, she said. As Naruto was confused by that. Who the hell would make it so you didn't have to see the first movie? Lazy ass artist, I would imagine, said Grandma. So get ready for boredom. It didn't take long as they reached the front. As Kara asked, 2 tickets to the Expendables 2. Naruto, she called out. Pay the man and let's get going, she said. As Naruto smiled and pulled out his frog wallet, causing her to laugh. As he grabbed the 2 tickets. As he grabbed seats at the top right. Both of them having amazing eyesight, they did not need to be any closer. Plus she told him that the middle always get crowded. Too crowded for you two to make out, Kurama mentioned. As that made Naruto blush a bit. Is this my date or our date, said Naruto. As Kurama shut up after that. While the acting was not much to be desired, he had to admit though, it was a pretty badass movie. And he didn't mind Kara cuddling up against him. When the movie ended, the both of them rose. Well, not too bad, said Naruto. The one-liners were funny, and those guys would have made some decent shinobis. How so, Kara said, as they walked hand in hand through the city. Well, all shinobis where I am from are like mercenaries here. We were available to do any job as long as you could pay us. Assassination, bodyguard, tracker, spy, etc. We had people that specialized in certain areas of the mission spectrum, but we could do any job you gave to us. Kara nodded surprised. She was of course used to ninjas like the ones that Batman and Batgirl fought from the League of Shadows. So the fact that they were mercenaries meant that they were good candidates for being shinobis. No, said Naruto, that's not what I meant. I meant they were similar. What would make them similar was their dedication to the mission. She urged him to continue, so he did. My village prided itself on teamwork and not leaving a man behind. Those who abandon the mission are trash. But those that abandon their teammates are worse than trash. Naruto said as he glanced up to the skyline. We knew that we were tools of the Hokage and the Daimyo. But at our core, we're still human, so most of us came up with codes that we would fight by. Some were not as righteous as others, but it is what helped majority of us contain our humanity. Kara leaned up and kissed him on the cheek, drawing his attention back to her. As Naruto looked down with a smile. That ramen place we went by last time is close by, he said. As that made her chuckle as they made their way off. As he kept on moving until someone bunks against Naruto and was thrown right down to the ground. Oh, quite sorry, my dear boy. I'm afraid I did not see you there. The both of them detect an English accent. As Naruto offered a hand, it's completely my fault, sir, he said. I shouldn't have been walking that fast in this crowd of people. The man took it and smiled as Naruto was on edge immediately. He knew a fake smile when he saw one instantly. And the look in the man's eyes spoke volumes about his intention. Well, you two have fun, he said, as he threw them a wave as he left. Come on, said Kara. The restaurant is close by. The two left as Naruto glanced behind him. He's gone. As Naruto tried to sense, but he could only feel civilians. But that guy was definitely not a civilian. I would agree, though he may not have been human. Your mate, she's giving off a weird energy feel. Yeah, I already figured that out, said Naruto. With my fight with Galatea. Her body was trying to heal after I hit her with a Rasen Shuriken, which wouldn't have happened if she had chakra. John doesn't possess it as well, but like her and Superman, she gave off a weird energy signature. So that is why you use your signature net in the watchtower. I thought it was because you didn't want to paint seals on the walls. Actually, that is another reason, said Naruto. I wanted to make sure I knew each and every one of the alien signatures, said Naruto. So if something goes wrong on the mission, I can better find them. You know, Naruto was snapped from his thoughts. A girl would find it mighty rude if her date just suddenly started to ignore her on their date. As Naruto turned towards her and apologized, as the two of them continued on. Meanwhile, as he stepped into the alleyway, Wintergreen pulled out his phone. Master Wilson, he said after dialing the number. The target is heading towards a tent and park. I also got a name, Naruto. Ah, you have done well, old friend. I shall make my move soon. Any speculation as to current destination? He asked, moving towards his target. I believe they're heading towards the ancient restaurant on the corner there, said Wintergreen. A date then, said Slade, more to himself than Wintergreen. I will believe so, Master Wilson, Wintergreen said. Now we have part of the answer as to the death of the clone, and he is hesitant to kill others. But the puzzle still remain unsolved, said Slade. But soon it will be complete as he checked his holster to make sure everything was prepped. I'm gonna have to thank Katniss for this little gem. But it's time to find out what I want to know. Meanwhile, as the both of them sat at the private slip, as they placed their orders, how come you didn't order like 30 bowls or something, said Kara? As Kara ordered orange chicken, as Naruto ordered only 2 bowls of ramen. Well, I thought it would be rude to ignore my date, Kara-chan, said Naruto, using her same line on him. Jerk, she said, as Naruto merely chuckled, as their food came as they started to eat, basking in the silence as it was comfortable and nice. Until Naruto started up a conversation. So he said, how come you wanted to go on a date so badly? I couldn't talk you out of it. As she giggled at his question, already questioning my diabolical movements, Mr. Ninja, she said. Guilty as charged, said Naruto, but seriously, I'm sure one of the other heroes have a sidekick or someone that you already met. So why me, he said. You know enough about my past to know that I'm not one. People would mostly consider a good guy. She sighed before she reached across the table and grabbed his chopstick-free hand. I treat your past how most others treat soldiers' past. What you did was neither good or evil, it was done. In the name of your country. Naruto was about to respond until a voice spoke up next to them. My, what a mature outlook you have on life, Supergirl. The both of them snapped their head to his side. As Naruto was shocked. How the hell did he sneak up on me, he thought. Kara, though she was thinking differently. Who the hell was this guy? How the hell does he know who I am? As a white-haired man stood there with one eye looking at them. He extended his left hand towards Naruto. Slade, he said, offering for a shake. Poof! 3 shurikens appeared in Naruto's hand as he pressed chakra into the seal on his palm. Slade smirked. Always prepared, he said. A man after my own heart. He dropped his hand and there was a green rock in his hand as he threw it towards the table. As Kara instantly recognized the kryptonite. As Naruto threw the 3 shurikens as it stuck right in the man's chest. As Naruto grabbed the kryptonite and hurled it across the restaurant, startling the people. While Naruto was in motion and Kara, recovering from the minor exposure to the rock, they missed Slade actions. Without moving his chest, his right arm pulled a weapon from his side and fired at Naruto. As Naruto turned as an energy beam slammed right into his chest, blowing him right through the window. Naruto! Kara leaped through. Naruto, she started to shake him. I'm afraid that's not going to help one bit, said Slade as he walked through. She turned as she looked towards Slade, with a deadly glare as she stood in front of Naruto protectively. What did you do to him, she said. Nothing permanent. I'm a mercenary. As Batman will tell you once, he's done with my partner. I've been contracted to find out all that there is to know about your boyfriend. And I did just that. As she saw that no one was looking as he tried to walk, she flew and appeared in front of him and grabbed him by the shirt, lifting him up. As she pulled her fist back. As I said, it's nothing permanent, said Slade, looking rather calm despite the position he was in. However, you would have to get him to the Martian otherwise. I will get to know all of his secrets. Kara's eyes widened before she slammed a devastating punch right into his stomach. She quickly rushed back over towards Naruto. John, we have a situation, Naruto. Needs a evac now, she said. And we also need a team. We were attacked by someone known as Slade. John didn't answer, instead he just beamed them up. After a moment, Clark arrived to the medical room. What happened, he said. We were attacked, said Kara, by some guy. He said that his name was Slade. Clark, he had kryptonite on him and he also knew my identity. What? Clark said in shock. How did someone find out? Does this mean he knows who I am? Who is this Slade, he thought to himself. Did he say anything else, he asked Kara. She told him everything that happened. Clark then turned towards John. I am still unsure to what this Slade has done to him. I have looked over the readings. I had doctors take blood samples and they should have answers soon. Nanites. They turned as they saw Batman at the door. There was also the Atom, Ray Palmer, with him as well. Deathstroke has used them before. He attacked the Titan's nervous system with them to turn Nightwing. These, he says, he pulled his strange gun out. They're sent to attack his brain, download his memories and send them to Slade. He gestured to the Atom. He will shrink down into size and find the transmitting one. John nodded as he already understand the plan, while I mentally shield him to stop the attack. Bruce nodded, but Clark was confused. Why would Deathstroke, Slade, give up a way to stop his plan? John was listening as he was already prepping the Atom. Deathstroke has an agenda. He was constructed by Cadmus to spy on Naruto after an incident a month back. Superman narrowed his eyes. You mean the mission you sent him on alone? And what is this Cadmus? Yes, said Bruce as he turned away looking towards the downed hero. As John injected the atom into Naruto, Cadmus is something that we will discuss later. Superman sighs he gave up if Bruce didn't want to talk about something. It will take the act of God to force him to talk about it. What were you doing in Metropolis and how did you find this much out so quickly? I got a tip-off when I returned to Gotham that Slade was targeting their date. I made a beeline to try and disrupt him. However, his former comrade, Wintergreen, a top SAA operative, was able to stall me. John, you guys reading me okay? Adam asked over the communicator. We read you loud and clear, Ray, said John. I will set up the mental shielding now. Make sure that when you leave, it is through the same needle I injected you with. Will do, said Ray as he made his way through Naruto bloodstream. I do not know how well my shielding will work against these nanites, John said to the three. Just try, John, please, Kara said. He nodded as he went behind the bed and placed both hands on the staff Naruto's head as he closed his eyes. And that is when everything went crazy. John started to scream and flash around as the others rushed over towards him. John tried to remove him from Naruto and hopefully stop what was happening. However, the moment they touched him, they were blasted away and slammed into the wall as they passed out. Kara groaned. What happened? She said, as she realized she was no longer in the medical bay of the watchtower. Where are we? She said, as she noticed it was a sewer around them. It would appear that we're in a sewer system, John said, helping Batman up. Supergirl and Superman getting up by their own. Not like any I've ever been in, Batman said dryly. What's with all the doors? As they looked around, until they saw a giant gate with nothing but darkness past it. Okay, what is that? Said Kara. As the gate was open, it would seem to be some kind of open gate. No, it was a cage. The question is, what was inside, and where is it now? Still behind the cage, mortals. A deep voice rumbled through. The darkness receded as a gigantic fox was revealed. Who or what are you? Taurus, as they all got ready for a fight. I am Kurama, the Kyuubi. A force of rage and hate. A natureful force that you could never understand or comprehend. Where are we? Batman said, not pleased with the answer that the demon gave. The world's greatest detective. That is what they call you, isn't it? So why don't you detect, moron? Batman just glared up at the fox, but before he could say anything, John answered. We are inside Naruto's mind, correct? Correct, said Kurama. Where is Naruto then? Said Kara. She looked around. Kurama lifted his tail to show Naruto behind it. Red and gold energy seeping into him. He's recovering. Whatever this Slade did, he did not expect me to be here. I purged Naruto's body of nanites as fast as I could to stop any attack. What I didn't count on was how devious he was. What do you mean? Superman said. As Batman spoke up. Slade, he set us up. He gave a possible way to stop the transfusion because he wanted us to set it up. John. Ah, said Kurama, I guess your title is deserving after all. Not all the machines were attacking my hosts. Only a fraction, the rest were placed to attack John so this Slade could hack his power and use his body as a transmitter. The memories has been butchered out of Naruto's mind, and you will more than likely be forced to watch them. Those doors, he pointed toward the 7 doors, were not there before. The nanites, from what I can assume, hacked into his brain and gathered what they could. It is not everything, but it will be enough to give away a bit that Naruto wanted to stay buried. John spoke up next, and whatever I view would be transmitted to Slade. No idea, Kurama said. We're dealing with things past my knowledge base, but I would assume so. Problem solved then, said Clark. John can just get us out of here. However, John shook his head as Supergirl looked towards him. I cannot. I already tried to pull us out once I realized what happened. The nanites in my body are controlling my powers until Slade get what he wants. We're stuck here. One of the doors then slowly opened. What you are to experience will not be over quickly, and it will not be pleasant. But you will understand my hosts far better than any of you was supposed to, Kurama said. That was the last they heard before they were sucked into the first memory. The three watched as a blonde-haired, whisker-faced marked child was thrown from what they could assume was an orphanage. They could tell that he was no older than 3 or 4, and he was dressed in what looked like rags. Get out of here, you demon! You have hurt these poor kids enough. As the woman slammed the door, Naruto was left on the street. Did anyone understand what was just said? Superman said not understand the language. Batman turned towards John. I do not feel like translating every sentence that he spoke. Do you have the power to give everyone the knowledge of what is being said in Japanese? John closed his eyes and concentrated. It would seem that I do. Bear with me for a moment, he said. They were glad for the knowledge as it popped into their head as they heard him spoke. Stupid bitch. Naruto said, surprising them with his use of profanity at such a young age. As he started to walk, they were pulled along against their will, as they couldn't control themselves. Clark and Kara heard everything, as they could hear with their super hearing from the people distance away as they saw the child. As John and Batman heard all the people nearby. Even Bruce got a bit uncomfortable by the way they looked and spoke about him. This is barbaric. Why are they doing this? Clark said, confused. They believed him to be the demon, Batman said. What? Said Clark, looking towards him confused. The demon that rests inside of Naruto. They believe him to be the demon. As Kara looked on with sad eyes as she watched Naruto, he eventually got tired of the glares and whispers as he started to move through the back alleys. It didn't take long until they saw him digging around in the garbage, grabbing small portion of food, sniffing some before eating it. Some they saw him spit back out and wipe his tongue with his hand. Others he grimaced through, but he finished eating. As the place started to get dark, as he left the alleyway making his way down a large street, he tried to avoid everyone's gaze. He was able to make it a few distance until he bumped into someone, an overweight fellow, wearing a stained apron. Sorry there kid, he said as he reached down and hit Naruto on his feet. You okay, he said as he kneeled down and checked over Naruto. Just fine, said Naruto, as he made his way past him, not looking him in the eye. That was until the old man heard his stomach rumble. He grabbed him by the shirt and started dragging him as the blonde started screaming profanity and threats. The other villagers looked on with smirk, thinking that the man was going to beat the child. He better not plan on hurt him, said Kara. Even if he does, said John, we must endure. This is a past, a memory, that we cannot change. As Kara sighed, Clark placed a hand on her shoulder, trying to comfort her. The old man arrived to a stall and placed Naruto on one of his stools. Now stay right here, kid, he said. We're gonna fill that belly of yours. How does that sound? Naruto looked at him strangely before he noticed another girl, a few years older than him, stirring a pot. Ayam-chan, the man called out. Stop working for a minute and come say hello to our guests. The girl got off the box, as she then picked it up as she moved it towards the counter, before she stood on top of it looking over. As she saw her guests, she was now eye level with Naruto as she stood in the box. Ichiraku Ayam, she said. Maker of the best ramen broth in town, she said, as she stuck out her hand, as Naruto simply stared at her. For a long while, not doing anything. She reached over and took his hand and shook it. This is the part that you tell me your name, she said. Naruto pulled his arm away. I don't know it, he said. What? She said, surprised that he did not know his own name. The four heroes were shocked that he did not either. Well, kid, my name is Tuki, and yours is Uzumaki Naruto. As Naruto looked at the smiling man, his daughter smiled at him as well. Uzumaki Naruto, he said, with a questioning tone. As Tuki placed the bowl in front of him with the chopsticks. Eat up, he said, as Naruto broke the chopsticks as he took a bite, and then a bigger one, before he started to gulp it down. I almost shocked as he started to giggle at how fast he was gulping it down. She's never seen someone eat so fast. As Naruto was finished so quickly. May I have another one, he said. Sure thing, coming right up, said Tuki, as he handed Naruto another bowl. The memory then faded away. They ended up back in the sewer-like room. Kara was trying her best not to cry, as the others were disgusted by the villagers and the way they treat him. I thought I have seen the darker side of humanity, Batman said, gaining the attention of the three other heroes and the demon. But that was monstrous. Why did they do that to him? Why do they think that he was you? They said that he was a demon. That is what they whispered to him as he passed by. Misplaced aggression and hate. Naive humans that don't understand. The night I was sealed inside him, I sent over at least 1,000 souls to the Shinigami. They hated him for that, but for another reason as well. You will probably see what happened, and if not, he will most likely tell you after learning how much you have learned about his past. Batman nodded as the others were trying to still process it all. They have seen things that were not pretty, worlds that were enslaved, people butchered in severe harsh manners. But to watch a child that did not even know his name struggle through the hate of an entire village without his control, it struck a chord deep inside of them. Mostly Batman, as he found a kindred spirit inside the recovering blonde, a man that was stripped of his childhood before it could even begin. They were then sucked into another memory, as they were now in a hospital. As they saw a man with a mask over his face, a dog mask, wearing a silver armor, with an orange book. He had silver hair. So that would be Sensei, said Supergirl. How do you know that? Batman said, looking at her. He told me that his sensei used to read that book all the time in public. Plus I seen his picture on his hair, looked the same. Clark sighed as Bruce smirked. I really wish you wouldn't read that smut. An older man then walked in as the door opened, as he had a strange looking hat and robes. Inu, he said, smoking a pipe. How is he? Dog, Clark said. Ninjas usually go by code names. His mask looked like a dog, so he go by the name Inu. Fine, Hokage-sama, he said, not looking up. His tenant has taken care of the damage. The staff is just making sure that he's comfortable while he heals. The older man nodded as he took a puff of his pipe. How are they treating him? Same as always. They at least understand that he's not a demon, but 90% of his staff is shinobis. They understand how seals work. What is seal inside of me? The both of them turned as they looked towards the bed, as Naruto was awake. Are you sure that you wish to know the Hokage acts? Naruto nodded. He turned back towards Inu. Tell him everything. He will need the information to face the coming storm. Inu snapped his book shut. Naruto, what I'm about to tell you is an S-class secret of this village. You can't speak about it to anyone. Do you understand? As Naruto nodded. To explain what you seal inside of you, I must first tell you a story. A long time ago when shinobis were still new to the uses of chakra, a group, calling themselves the sages, planned to learn and master all usage of this strange energy. There were 10 sages totally, all gods of shinobis. One day they opened a portal to the netherworld, the very pit of the Shinigami's home, attempting to gain control of his power and further their own. It did not end well. Angered by their audacity, he sent forth his 10 strongest demons to drag their souls back to him. However, it did not go as planned. The demons were too powerful for the sages to kill, and the sages, being mastercraft shinobis, were too crafty for the demons to capture. The battles they had scarred the lands, it demolished mountains, destroyed countries. But the sages grew tired of trying to fight the beasts, and being master shinobi, they had the advantage that the demons did not possess. The demons were pure chakra construct, given thoughts by the Shinigami. The sages knew the chakra could be sealed and believed the demons could be sealed as well. Each of the 10 beasts had dominion over a different element and emotion, so they crafted seals to channel and contain the powers of the demons. The first is Shikaku, who had domain over the desert and sand, and the insanity that they can cause. Next was Inibi, who had domains over the fires of hell and the passion of man. The third was a Sanbai. He was given dominion over the water and depressions that fall into shipwreck heart. Fourth was Yanbai. He was given dominion over the mountains and the will of the heart. Fifth was Gobi. He was given dominion over the flatlands and the drive that one possessed. Sixth was Urukibai, given dominion over everything poisonous and despair and pending death. 7 was Nanabi, given dominion over the skies and fear from above. 8 was the Hatsubi, given dominion over lightning and impulse. 9, the Kyubi, giving impulse over the earth itself. It was rage and hate incarnate. It was destructive force of nature itself. Finally, the strongest of all of them, the Jubi, the Shinigami death incarnate. The sage used powerful seals to seal them away as time passed. They were sealed into new containers because the old ones were dying out. After the creation of the villages and what we call the First Shinobi War, the tail beasts were divided up. It was a means of deterrent to not start another war. They turned living peoples into mass weapon and destruction. Superman said in shock, "The day that you were born, we were attacked by a man that no one has identified yet, your mother. Kushina Uzumaki was the previous container of the Kyubi. Your family has been guarding this world from the Kyubi wrath for over 1,000 years now. This man attacked her and your father, trying to free the demon so he can use it for his own means. He succeeded in his goal of releasing the demon, a process that killed your mother. In defense of the village, your father, Minato no Mikaze, used the seal that he and his mother was developing to seal the Fox and Sapphire after you were born. They planned on you becoming the next container of the Kyubi, but there was a price for the seal that they developed. It called forward the Shinigami to place the beast inside of you. physically and spiritually as well. Your father's soul was sacrificed in the place of one of the sage to tip the scale back into balance. As Naruto started to tear up after hearing all of that, Inu raised up as he placed a hand on his shoulder. "Be proud, Naruto," he said. "Your father, my sensei, he defended you and this village with the cause of his life. Unfortunately, though, there was a hidden cause that none of us will know to come to pass. Your childhood," he said. Naruto looked up at the man that he now knew was his father's student. "Is that the reason why you always look out for me?" he said. As Inu nodded, as Naruto hugged the man as far as he could. "Do not hate the villagers, Naruto. They do not know any better. Pity them. It's harder to live with the hate than let it go." With those final words, the memories faded from view. "How?" said Kara as she looked towards the giant beast. "How could they do something like that?" She now knew why Naruto didn't have a family, but to think the village treated him like trash after what his mother and father did for them, it was unthinkable. "Because you mortals are all the same. When I was freed and placed under the control of that man that freed me, I killed a lot of the mortals in that village. They did not believe whatsoever, though all they believed was the mother of Naruto failed to contain me, and they lost everyone. And there he was all alone, the perfect scapegoat for their hate. Even though he was a child of a leader that they lost," Clark said, surprised by that they would still hate him after finding that out. "As I said, you humans are all the same, able to look past the simplistic things of life, only focusing on what is in front of your face. They saw a reminder of what they lost, what his wife failed to contain, not the legacy they left behind. But he never asked." Kurama looked down. "Out of all the mortals I've seen through the centuries, he saw everything, from the complex to the simple, to the evil and corrupted of nature. He walked a fine line, never once wavering from his ideals, his code. How many more memories will be dragged out until we are finished with them?" John said, as he wanted this to end. Seeing Naruto suffer like that, well, it was a lot. Based on the numbers of doors, I will say 5. As Kurama finished, the third door opened, as they were sucked out. It was nighttime, as two figures were in the forest, as they saw Naruto blonde hair, his headband. He was also wearing a face mask, and he was wearing a smaller version of the League uniform that he was wearing now. "Kakashi Teiko, I sense 10 bandits and 5 hostages." As Kakashi was wearing something similar but with longer sleeves and green vests, as he was wearing a half-face mask as well, with a headband over one of his eyes. His dog mask was no longer there. "Then we should have no problems," he said, his lone eye curving up into an eye smile. The two then started to creep up on what the heroes could see was a bandit camp. As they then broke off as Naruto went right, his sensei going left. Once he was properly set, he pressed the small little microphone. "I'm in position," he said. They saw as he nodded, receiving orders. He pulled out several shurikens. He launched them. They stuck into the ground. Before he made a hand sign and they exploded. Shrapnels were thrown all over, causing the final 3 that did not get hit to scatter. Superman and Supergirl saw both Naruto and his sensei move with speeds that only they could follow. As Naruto reached the one first, as the guy swung a blade at him, Naruto ducked underneath as he gripped the kunai and plunged it through the guy's throat. Before he jumped and plunged another one right through the back of his neck. He then ripped the both of them out as he pushed the guy aside. He saw the other two engaging Kakashi as he rushed him from the back. His feet made no sound as he rushed on the hard ground. As Naruto jumped behind the first one that was bringing his arm down on Kakashi. As Naruto landed on his back, the guy tried to throw him off. However, Naruto wrapped his arm around him and dropped before bringing his kunai up, splitting his throat open. Turning, he saw the final one was already impaled by Kakashi. As Kakashi ripped the kunai out as the man fell dead to the ground. The heroes were shocked that Naruto killed so brutally at a young age. "What do you think, Bruce?" said Clark. "He just killed 9 men in a short minute, and he looked to be no older than 8 years old. How much better has he gotten in the past 11 years? Some of which he already told us he fought in a war." That caused the other heroes to wonder how strong he was. That is when they saw him fall to his knees, as he pulled the mask off before he threw up. As Kakashi let him release it before he checked on the hostages, he came back a few minutes later. They're from a nearby village in tow. "We'll drop them off before returning to Konoha. However, we must retain proof that the bandits are dead for the client." As Naruto nodded, he knew what that meant. Gripping the kunai, he started to remove the heads of the bandits. Placing them all together, he proceeded to seal them all away in a scroll. Kakashi did not step in, not even once, he just stood there. "This is far beyond anything I could have thought of," said Clark. While watching a child murder people in cold blood is one thing. But this was different. It was barbaric on a level that he could not even comprehend. "The darkest parts of humanity could never be imagined by us," said Bruce. He had seen quite a bit since taking up the mantle, however. This was different. After they dropped the hostage off, they made their way back. As they set up camp, a different location, Kakashi finally started to talk. "Back during the Third War, that is when I was drafted under your father. We were just a few years older than you, and we had a mission similar to this. But instead of bandits, it was enemy shinobi. We attacked in the dead of night, and we left no survivors. Your father told us these words, and I believe it's time you hear them. The life of a shinobi is a difficult affair. We are nothing more than a tool of death, used at the daimyo's whim, and dispatched by our Hokage. We stain our hand red with the blood of the damned, and as well as the innocent. If you do not like this, then quit the shinobi corps once we return. If you can bear through it, you will see your deeds remembered by the village, through eternity. We do not fight for ourselves, we fight for the village that we call home, and the people that are there that cannot fight. We are the evil that allow them to live peacefully. Leave no survivors, and you will not fear retribution or retaliation from your enemies." As Naruto soaked in all that he said, back in Naruto Mindscape, Kurama saw all of them rather silent. "I wonder what they're seeing," he thought to himself. Well, that is when they start to vanish. The doors all start to vanish as well. As he looked down to see that Naruto mental form had stopped pulling on the chakra as well. It seems that this Slade had seen what he wanted to see. Clark, John, Bruce, and Kara all woke up in beds next to Naruto as they were on the medical watch bay. "Man," said Adam, "John, your Martian anatomy is so different compared to our humans. It took forever, even with Lantern's ring, to guide me through and destroy the machines." The others nodded as John motioned his thanks. "I appreciate the effort, Ray, but how did you know I had them?" "I figured that some of them were not set up for human use when I was expended out of his body. But how did that happen anyway?" None of them answered, wanting to keep the secret of the demon inside of Naruto for now. "I just wish it was faster," John said. "What happened?" said Lantern. Batman spoke up. "Deathstroke tricked us. He used John to send information on Naruto to him. What we saw was not pretty, and now Deathstroke has that information as well." As Batman left, as Vixen could tell that something was off by his body language. "What did you guys see?" "The darkest side of humanity," said Superman. He turned towards Kara. "Why don't you stay here for the night?" he said. "I'll have the staff change on the bed for a chair." As she saw genuine concern in her cousin's eyes, she nodded. With a smile, she sat down. "The darkest side of humanity," Lantern said. As both John and Superman nodded. "Meet us upstairs in 20 minutes. We're gonna call Flash and Diana as well." Lantern raised an eyebrow. "Is he now classified as a threat?" "No," said John. "He was never a threat to begin with." With that said, the three of them left to clear their minds, as the others shared a look, trying to piece together what exactly did they saw. But with no information, it was impossible. That is when Vixen saw. Kara had tears in her eyes. "Sugar," she said, approaching her. "What happened? Can you tell us anything?" "They hated him," she said, not looking away. "He had no control over what happened, but they hated him for the same way. He lost his family, he was beaten, starved, forgotten. Yet he fought for them, he became a tool for them, protected them, and killed for them. They forced him to become a living weapon while abusing him at the same time." As she looked up with tears rolling down her cheeks. "It's not fair," she said, as Vixen hugged her. "It's gonna be okay, Sugar," as she held her for a while. "If you need me, page me," she said. As she grabbed Lantern and Adam. "Let's leave them be," she said. "Meanwhile, I am sorry, Master Wilson, it seems. The video feed has been cut, the nanites in the Martian has been destroyed. It's of no consequences, old friend. I have what I needed." As Slade started to leave the room. "And what is that, sir?" "All the answer to my problem," said Slade as he made his way off. This was a lot better than he thought it would be. Yes, a whole lot better. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next parts, and do like, subscribe, comment down below. Turn on that bell notification so they post your member. Cheers to all of your friends and social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new, so I can reply to all back to all of you. So without further ado, I'm hoping I'll see you guys soon. Peace.